welcome.
Welcome to the Culinary U, and we're so excited to talk about our ingredient for this month, which is tomatoes.
Ooh, plenty of tomatoes. No problem with tomatoes.
Loves tomatoes, so we appreciate you joining us. And you can find more about our Culinary U at MerBon.com. That's MER-BON.com, where you'll find articles about growing the ingredients. So from Mike and the Dream, you'll find an article about growing tomatoes in our area. And then you'll find a recipe from the Vintage House restaurant about tomato pesto, which is what we're going to be talking about today with a wine pairing. So we appreciate you joining us, and we hope that you are enjoying farm to table or garden to table food.
Super. So let's talk about how do we do this? How did we make this fantastic plate of pasta?
We love pasta. We love tomato sauce, marinara, salsa. We grow a lot of tomatoes, so we always can extra for the winter season. But we did a tomato pesto this month, and it is actually also known as pesto rosso because it is a basil pesto with the roasted tomatoes, puree roasted tomatoes included in the sauce. And so it brings out a lot of new different flavors and offers the opportunity for different wine pairings as well. So we actually chose a couple of challenging ones today too to talk about. So we have a pasta with the tomato rosso, the pesto rosso, and some meatballs like the Mama Rosa meatballs.
Mama Rosa meatballs, mwah, fantastic.
And fresh basil. One of the ingredients in this that makes this work with our viognier, which we're going to be talking about, is that we are using a lemon basil. So it completely changes the character of the sauce. Typically, we do the big, heavy rosso.
The Genovese, yes.
The giant leaf, which is delicious. But it makes the flavors of the food go better with the big red ones. And in the Viognier, which is very light and delicate, we needed something with a little lighter character to it.
So talk about how we created the tomatoes.
So the tomatoes, we actually divide in halves, and we roast them at about 400 degrees for 40 minutes in the oven with a little olive oil and salt. It's very simple. Then we take the tomatoes and we put them in the pan, the saucepan, where we reduce the tomato with the, in this case, the pesto. If we were doing a different type of sauce, we would actually add other things.
So there it is. There's the pan. So let's show the pan. Here we are. Yes.
That's the pesto rosso. And then we emulsify it.
Yes, go ahead.
Together and make the sauce. It's very simple, but you can change it up by doing different things. Like if you take the same recipe, but you add carrots to it, then you had more of a vodka sauce base to it. So it's fun to experiment, and like I said, try different types of herbs in your pesto. Doesn't always have to be basil, and if it is basil, it doesn't always have to be Genovese.
Right. So this is a fantastic meal this evening. We're going to really enjoy it. And let's talk about the wines. First of all, the first wine is the Viognier, as Merrill was talking about it. And the Viognier is a wine that Messina Hop has been making for about 15 years. And it's won gold medals in all of our competitions. And it's just a wonderful wine. It's 100% Viognier, and it is stainless steel fermented, but yet it has a little bit of malolactic. And so the malolactic creates that nice creamy component to it. So you want to talk about it a little bit? The Viognier is nice and crisp, and it has a floral component, like a little bit of citrus.
And some peach, the stone fruit character.
Absolutely.
Is what I enjoy about the Viognier. But it does have that really clean, fresh, crisp character of a citrus in the finish. and that brightens the dish when you're pairing food and wine. And one of the things about pesto, pesto is is whatever herb you're using, let's say basil, and you actually puree that with some olive oil and some sort of nuts, typically almonds or pine nuts, but we've also used pecans or walnuts and experimenting with different things. You puree that together with a little bit of garlic, and it's and Parmesan cheese, and it makes a wonderful side to just about anything, actually. So in this puree, the basil usually, or the herb, has the strongest flavor. So we always like to pair flavor weights. We have a heavy flavor weight in the food, then you need something heavier in the wine.
And the basil goes really nice with the Viognier.
It does, because it's the lemon basil. And I think that's really important because the Viognier is so delicate and very mild and fruity in character. The lemon basil enhances that and really brings out the brightness of the citrus component to it.
All right, so that's the first wine. Now, the second wine that we want to talk about is our very, very special Paulo Merlot. And this one, also a gold medal winner, San Francisco, though. San Francisco Chronicle. Now, one of the things that's kind of interesting in talking about Merlot is the fact that Merlot was the number one planted red grape in Bordeaux before the movie Sideways. Sideways messed up Merlot for a long, long time. And in the last year or two, Merlot is making a comeback. And one of the nice things about Merlot is that it really plays well with other varieties. And this particular Merlot is playing with Tempranillo and Cabernet Sauvignon. So it's a blend predominantly of Merlot, but also Tempranillo, 15%, and then the rest of it is Cabernet Sauvignon. So it's still got that nice cherry aroma that you see in Merlots, but it also has that fortissimo, that wonderful flavor of Tempranillo and Cabernet, which produces that kind of peppery, spicy character. And Paul puts this in brand new American/French oak, so it has that wonderful vanilla extraction. So it's just a lovely wine.
I love Merlot. It's one of my favorite reds for food pairing because it's so simple and straightforward. It has a nice soft finish to it.
The thing that's wonderful about Merlot, I think it goes with more food than any other red. Yes. So it's one that if you're questioning what food to go with the wine, Merlot goes pretty much with anything that you would serve a red wine with. It really is very easy to pair with.
This one goes so well with the tomato pesto,
right?
Because it has that characteristic of the roasted tomatoes in there. And there's a little bit of char that happens in the roasting that comes out in the flavor of the tomato. So it adds flavor weight that really balances beautifully with the Merlot or red wine.
And then the last suggestion is one of my favorites. It's one of Meryl's not favorite, and that is Syrah or Shiraz. Shiraz became very popular thanks to New Zealand and Australia, mostly Australia, and then all of a sudden it fell out of favor as Shiraz, but now Syrah is making a big comeback. People don't realize that Shiraz and Syrah are the same grape. It's just the way you're phrasing it. And now, some people say that Shiraz has a little bit more like American oak kind of flavors because a lot of the Aussies use American oak. This is a blend of American oak and French oak, so it has that finesse of the French. So it's a little bit less aggressive. It's not going to punch you in the face. It kind of just touches your face so nice and gently. The thing that's wonderful about Syrah is the fact that it goes so well with meatballs. It's just absolutely wonderful.
Well, and let me tell you, there's usually a wine varietal that a person doesn't enjoy as much as others. So that's not unusual. The key there is because we always choose the wine first, and then we pair the meal to that wine with the ingredients, with the spices, the herbs, the way we cook it. This particular dish, because of the char, the big, bold tomato flavors, roasted tomato flavors, it works well with the Syrah, even for me. So it's a good pairing.
Well, and this is jammy, very jammy. And it's just a lovely, smooth, red, full-bodied wine.
When you have a red like this, and I would suggest that you choose something of flavor weight that's maybe a little bit stronger in the food flavor weight than in the wine flavor weight.
Absolutely. You know, we started producing Syrah or Shiraz way back in the 80s. And in 1991, I'll never forget, I was in Specs on Smith Street, and a dear friend, Bear Dalton, stopped me and said, "Paul, you need to make a GSM." And I said, "What's a GSM?" And he says, "Let me show you what a GSM is." And he took me over to the Australian section where there was a wine there. It's called Striker. And he said, "This is one of my favorite wines. It's an Australian GSM." He gave me a bottle and he said, "Make one like this." And so we got busy and we started working with Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvedre, and came up in 1991 with the GSM. We've been making it ever since. And that wine has won international gold medals all over the place. So up in heaven,
I love that one.
Bear, I love you, man. Thanks for the suggestion. But the Syrah is really the backbone of a GSM. You know, the Mourvedre is the earthy characteristic. The Syrah is the backbone. And the Grenache is that kind of fruitful flavor. So we really enjoy making Syrah in years when we have enough Syrah to go around after taking care of our GSM, because it's one of our biggest selling wines. This year, it was 2022. This is a great little vintage. It's just really wonderful. Jammy, wonderful. It's going to go absolutely great with tonight's dinner. So
remember the wines.
yes, the three wines are, let's show you. We've got Viognier, because it goes so well with the basil. The Merlot, because it goes so well with pretty much everything. And the Syrah, which goes so well with the meatballs. I think the meatballs are going to be a real hit tonight. So, on behalf of Merrill and I, and all the great folks here at Messinahof, we want to extend to you a great food and wine pairing experience. And we expect to see all of you at Messinahof for harvest, because it's going to be a big harvest this year. The grapes are looking absolutely fantastic. So, on behalf of both of us, take care. God bless you all.